Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a table in Fusion 360. This is the actual table that we're going to make, a full-sized version of CAD model. So here's the completed CAD model of that table. Now the first thing I'm going to do is create a sketch, and I want to create a sketch on the vertical plane. So I'm going to use the front panel to find that vertical plane. I'm going to make sure that my measurements are in millimeters, and I'm going to make sure in the sketch palette that I have the snap on. My next step is I'm going to just zoom out a little bit so I can see more of the plane. You'll start to lose some of the numbers, but that's okay. And I'm going to create a 2-point rectangle. Now in the vertical direction, I'm going to type in 800 millimeters, which is 80 centimeters. And then I use the tab key to get to the horizontal and also make that 800 millimeters or 80 centimeters. I'm going to use the create and center point rectangle. Going to find the center of my rectangle that I just drew, or the square that I just drew, and I'm going to make this rectangle 750 millimeters by 750 millimeters, which should be 75 centimeters by 75 centimeters. My next step is to extrude out this rectangle within a rectangle that I just drew. So I'm just doing the edges around the outside. And I'm going to use the symmetrical function on the extrude. And I'm going to extrude it 25 millimeters on each side. So that's 2.5 centimeters on one side of the plane and 2.5 centimeters on the other side of that sketch plane. And that's going to give me a total of 5 centimeters. I'm going to make a copy of this. So I'm going to use the copy function in the move, and I'm going to move this out 1,800 millimeters, or 180 centimeters. So these are my two legs. You can see both sides there. And now I need to do these cross pieces and also connect them to the legs. I'm going to turn off the second body that I just created, the copy, and I'm going to sketch on the surface of my first leg that I created. You'll notice that it'll turn that light gray color, and you want to make sure that you're selecting the correct thing. So you're selecting that surface, which I just picked there, that turned light gray. I'm going to make a 2-point rectangle. I'm going to start in this top corner, and I'm going to come down, and it needs to be 50 by 25. And I need to go over to the other side, and I need to do the same thing. I need to create a 2-point rectangle that is 50 by 25 in the other corner. This is where having the snap is very helpful, because it'll often snap to the correct place that you want it to snap to. I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to hit the home key, and then I need to extrude out these two rectangles that I just drew. So I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to extrude them. I turn back on the second body, and I'm going to extrude this almost all the way. Now, you'll see if you extrude it too far, it'll start to do that cut where it turns red. But I need these to be 1,750 long. And then I'm going to use the join right there, the join operation. All right, that's the frame on the bottom of this table, the black frame. My next step is to draw the tabletop. So I'm going to sketch on the top of that frame. And again, you should see that it turns a lighter gray. And once again, I'm going to be using a center rectangle. I'm just trying to find the center of this. You can kind of eyeball it. I need to find a line that is in the center. Once I've located it, I'm going to use the center rectangle. I'm going to select the center. And I'm going to start pulling this rectangle. Now, I need it to be 2,000 long by 1,000 wide. So I hit the tab key after I type in 2,000 in the length, and I go to the width, and I'm going to type in 1,000. And you can see that this is centered nicely on the top of that frame. I finished my sketch, and then I need to extrude this. Now it's going to want to extrude in different parts, so I'm selecting 3 parts to this. And I want to extrude this 35 millimeters, and I want this to be a new body because the tabletop is a separate piece. This is pretty much the entire table. The only thing I have left to do is add some appearances. So what I'm going to do is go over to the bodies, and I'm going to select the top, so the body number 2. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go down to where it says physical materials. In the list there, I'm going to scroll down to wood, and I want to find the white oak. And I'm going to drag that on top of the tabletop, and that makes it into a nice oak surface. I also want to change the steel legs. So what I'm going to do is, steel is already selected in there, but I want to change the appearance. So I'm going to choose advanced, and then in the Pantones, find black. Doesn't matter which black color you choose. And then I'm going to click OK. So now those legs are colored black, which is the correct color for this. I now can hit the escape key and get out of my materials. My next step is to fillet some of the edges because the edges here are too sharp. So I'm going to use the fillet function, and I'm going to select the corners. And I'm going to fillet this by 20 millimeters. Sorry, our corners are rounded. I do also need to round the edges, so I'm going to select one of the top edge there, and I'm going to round this 3 millimeters. And that'll give a nice fillet on the entire table. All right, and there's your table. Thank you for watching.